Once upon a time, there was a very beautiful kingdom called Soernpur. This kingdom was filled with dense forests, tall mountains, and crystal-clear rivers. The people there were hardworking and prosperous. In the same kingdom lived a hunter, but he was not like other hunters. In his entire life, he had never killed any animal. He could not even raise his hand to harm a living creature. He owned only a net and a flute, on which he played the sweetest melodies. Every day, he would go into the forest, spread his net, and then sit a little distance away to play his flute. Hearing the soft and magical sound of his flute, the birds would fly toward him. He would wait patiently, and as soon as a bird came near his net, he would pull the rope and trap it inside. Then he would feed the birds, take care of them, and listen to their sweet chirping. Whenever he needed money, he would sell 2 or 3 of those birds. The hunter had a son named Arjun. One day, the hunter fell seriously ill and passed away. The little money that Arjun and his mother had soon ran out, and they were left with nothing to eat. Life became very difficult for them. Arjun was young, but he was very brave and patient. At such a young age, he helped his mother in every way he could, and whenever he found time, he would go to the forest where his father used to catch birds. One day, he said to his mother, "Mother, I am no longer a child. I am 19 years old now. Since father's death, you have worked very hard. Please give me father's net and flute now. From tomorrow, I will also go to the forest and catch birds." His mother knew that he was a very brave boy and that he was familiar with every corner of the forest, so she brought him his father's flute and net. The next morning, Arjun woke up early and headed toward the forest. He was neither afraid of anything nor worried about losing his way, because he recognized every single tree in the forest. Arjun went deep into the jungle and started playing the flute, but not a single bird came into his net the entire day. Finally, when the darkness of evening began to spread through the forest, he returned home tired and empty-handed. His mother already knew this would happen. Catching birds was not such an easy task that someone could learn it in a single day. She comforted her son and said, "My son, even your father did not become skilled at catching birds immediately. You will still need to work very hard to learn this craft." Arjun was not someone who gave up easily. With strong determination, he continued his work. Gradually, he learned how to play beautiful melodies on the flute, how to hide himself from the birds, and how to sit patiently for long hours without moving. Soon, birds also started getting trapped in his net. One day, a very strange and beautiful magical bird got caught in his net. Its feathers were of 3 colors: golden, silver, and blue. Arjun happily brought the bird home and locked it inside a cage. The next morning, when he woke up, he was shocked to see something unbelievable. The bird had laid a beautiful egg. That egg was also of 3 colors: golden, silver, and blue. Arjun thought that he should sell the egg in the market so that he could earn some money. When he reached the marketplace with the egg, a shopkeeper noticed it. This shopkeeper was very cunning and greedy. His name was Manohar. His business was to cheat poor people and sell cheap things at high prices. The moment Manohar saw the colorful egg in Arjun's hand, he immediately called out, "Hey, listen, how much is it for?" Arjun thought for a moment. Looking at the man's cunning and greedy nature, he said, "Yes, this is for 10 rupees. Arjun was surprised to see that the clever shopkeeper did not even try to lower the price and immediately paid 10 rupees for the egg. Arjun bought some household items from the market and returned home. The next morning, he saw that the bird had laid another colorful egg just like the first one. He sold this egg to the same cunning shopkeeper as well. In this way, the magical bird gave a beautiful colorful egg every single day, and Arjun kept selling them. One day, a thought came to Arjun's mind. What does this clever shopkeeper actually do with such expensive eggs? He must be selling them for a much higher price, Arjun thought. One day, he decided to follow the shopkeeper. After buying the egg, Manohar went straight to the royal palace, and Arjun finally understood everything. The shopkeeper was purchasing the eggs from him every day and then selling them to the king at a much higher price. Arjun thought, "Why shouldn't I take the eggs directly to the king and earn more money myself?"
So he did exactly that.
The king paid him 100 rupees for a single egg. When the cunning shopkeeper Manohar realized that Arjun was no longer selling the eggs to him and had started going directly to the palace, he became furious. To teach Arjun a lesson, he went to the king one day and said, "Your Majesty, why do you buy these eggs from Arjun for such a high price? You can get them for free. Arjun owns a strange and beautiful magical bird that lays these eggs. If you take that bird from him, you will get both the bird and the eggs without paying anything." The king immediately ordered, "Bring that bird to me at once." Arjun understood that this was the trick of the cunning shopkeeper Manohar, because the king was not wise enough to think about where the eggs actually came from. But Arjun was helpless, because disobeying the king's order could lead to severe punishment. Arjun handed over his magical bird to the king, but he did not lose hope. He picked up his flute and net and headed toward the forest once again. He played such a charming melody on his flute that birds from every corner of the jungle began flying toward him. Sometimes a partridge got trapped in his net, sometimes a dove, and sometimes a nightingale. By selling those birds, Arjun and his mother once again started living a happy life. Soon, Arjun became famous throughout the city. Whenever someone wanted to keep a bird as a pet, they would come to Arjun and buy one from him. When the cunning shopkeeper Manohar saw this, he said to Arjun, "You should sell these birds to me instead." Arjun immediately understood that Manohar wanted to buy the birds cheaply and then sell them to people at much higher prices, so he refused. The clever shopkeeper became very angry. He went to the king and said, "Your Majesty, the magical bird you took from Arjun remains sad because it is all alone. You should order Arjun to catch another bird just like it, so your bird can stay happy with its companion." But the king's wisdom was weak, and he thought the shopkeeper was right. He summoned Arjun and ordered, "Bring another bird exactly like my magical bird as its companion, or you will face severe consequences." Arjun wanted to say something, but the king interrupted him and said, "I do not want to hear a single word. I give you 30 days. If you fail to bring another bird within 30 days, you will be put to death." Arjun became worried, but he did not lose courage. Taking his flute and net, he went deep into the forest. He worked day and night. Where could he possibly find another strange and beautiful magical bird like that? But his hard work finally paid off, and at last, another magical bird of the same kind got trapped in his net. Arjun caught the bird and presented it to the king. The king happily accepted the bird, but he did not pay Arjun even a single coin. Arjun realized that the king was just like the shopkeeper. The only difference was that the shopkeeper was cunning, while the king was foolish. The king was delighted to have the bird, but the cunning shopkeeper Manohar became furious. He knew that Arjun was brave, hardworking, and intelligent, and that one day he might take revenge on him. Manohar had hoped Arjun would fail to find the second bird, so the king would have him executed. But now he became afraid that Arjun might someday cause trouble for him. So, he thought of another plan to trap Arjun. He went to the king and said, "Your Majesty, perhaps you do not know this, but the lives of the magical birds that Arjun brings you are hidden inside a special flower." The king asked, "How is that possible?" The shopkeeper replied, "I have heard from elders and wise men that these birds must smell the Mohini flower once every year. If they do not get this flower, they die. And these flowers grow only in the garden of the wild demon." The king said, "But where will we get such flowers? The wild demon never allows anyone to enter his garden, and whoever goes there is killed." The shopkeeper answered, "Your Majesty, there is only one boy in the entire kingdom who can do this task, Arjun. Call him and order him to bring the Mohini flower at once." Once again, the king did exactly what the shopkeeper suggested. He summoned Arjun and said, "Go to the wild demon's garden and bring me the flower called Mohini, or my birds will die." Arjun replied, "Your Majesty, I already gave you the magical bird. Then you ordered me to bring its companion, and I brought that as well. But this command is strange. I do not even know where the wild demon's garden is." The king said, "No. The shopkeeper says that only you can do this task. If my birds die, I will have both you and your mother executed." Arjun understood that trying to reason with the foolish king was like banging his head against a wall, and that all of this was the shopkeeper's conspiracy. So, he quietly returned home and began thinking about what to do next. In that city lived a wise sage who was known for his great knowledge. Arjun went to him, told him everything, and asked, "Is it really true that there is a flower called Mohini that grows in the wild demon's garden, and that these birds cannot survive without smelling it?" The sage replied, "Yes, it is true. Once every year, these birds must smell that flower. No matter how far away they travel, they always return during the spring season to the Mohini flower. That is why the wild demon grows these flowers in his garden." He continued, "In this way, those strange birds remain in his garden all the time." Arjun then asked, "If I pluck that flower from his garden, will the birds follow the flower wherever it goes?" The sage nodded and said, "Yes, they certainly will. But reaching the flower is extremely difficult. There is only one gate to that garden, and no one can open it without the power of the wild demon."
Arjun said,
"I will open it. Just tell me the way." The sage told him the location of the wild demon's garden and also warned him that many strong wrestlers and brave men had gone there before, but none had ever returned alive. The wild demon was extremely powerful. "Try to remain hidden," the sage advised. "If he does not see you, you will succeed. But if he notices you, he will kill you." Arjun carefully understood everything and set out early the next morning. He kept walking and walking until he finally reached the wild demon's garden. There was only one huge gate, built by joining massive rocks together. Even many strong wrestlers could not move it. He sat near the gate, but he was so tired that he immediately fell asleep. Suddenly, he woke up to a loud noise. So loud it felt like a storm approaching. The sound kept getting closer and closer. He realized that the wild demon was entering the garden. Quickly, Arjun hid himself. The demon passed by without noticing him, and Arjun felt as if a mountain was moving past him while opening the gate. Holding his breath, Arjun quietly followed behind him. As soon as the demon entered the garden, Arjun also slipped inside and quickly hid behind a bush. In the forest, Arjun was used to sitting very still for long hours without moving while catching birds. That habit helped him greatly here. The wild demon did not even realize that someone had followed him inside the garden. The garden was extremely beautiful. It had strange and colorful flowers that amazed Arjun. There were also birds there that he had never seen before. Arjun stayed hidden there the entire night. In the morning, the wild demon went out again, perhaps in search of prey. After he left, Arjun began searching for the flower. He also saw the same magical birds he had once given to the king, but he still did not know which one was the Mohini flower. There were all kinds of flowers everywhere. While wandering through the garden, he noticed a huge palace. The wild demon lived there. Arjun entered it. The palace had 40 rooms, each more beautiful than the other, but there was no one inside. Finally, when he reached the 40th room, he heard the sound of someone crying, but no one was visible. It seemed like the sound was coming from under the carpet. He lifted the carpet and found a door in the floor. He opened it and saw stairs going down into the earth. He went down the stairs and entered below. Below was a narrow and dark room. The sound of crying grew even louder. When Arjun looked carefully, he saw a girl in the darkness who was hanging in the air. Her long hair was tied with a chain, and she was crying. Seeing Arjun, she said, "How did you come here?
"Who are you?"
Leave immediately, or the wild demon will tear you into pieces." Arjun replied, "Don't worry, he has gone out. Tell me, who are you?" The girl said, "My name is Radhika. I am the princess of Sowarnpur. The wild demon kidnapped me many years ago and brought me here. Since then, I have been imprisoned." Arjun untied her hair and brought her down. Then he asked, "Who are you and how did you come here?" Arjun told her everything about how he had come in search of the Mohini flower and that if he failed, the king would harm his mother. Radhika said, "I was the one who first grew the Mohini flower. If you take me out of here, I will grow it again, and then all the birds will keep coming to you. Arjun asked, "But how will you grow the Mohini flower?" Radhika said, "When I was a child, a sage blessed me that my tears turn into Mohini flowers. But first, take me out of here." Then she told him that there were fast horses in the wild demon stable. Arjun went there and untied 2 horses. They both rode them. Radhika knew that there was a special stone in the garden which opened the gate when pressed. They reached it, opened the gate, and escaped on horseback. The horses kept running and finally took them all the way to Arjun's city. Both of them saw Arjun's mother, and she was overwhelmed with joy. She embraced them both and served them food. Then she asked, "Tell me, did you find the flower you went to get or not?"
Arjun said,
"Mother, when I left, I didn't tell you anything. Then how did you know I went to get a flower?" His mother replied, "The king's soldiers come here every day and ask whether Arjun has brought the flower or not." Just then, the king's soldiers arrived and asked, "Have you brought the flower or not?" Before Arjun could answer, Radhika said, "Yes, he has brought it. He will soon go to the king himself and present the flower." After the soldiers left, Radhika touched her eyes and shed tears. 2 drops of her tears fell on the ground and turned into beautiful flowers. She said, "The wild demon knew I could create the Mohini flower in this way, so he kept me imprisoned. Now take these flowers to the king." When Arjun took the flowers to the king, the magical birds had become sad and silent. But as soon as they saw the flowers, they came back to life and started singing again. The king became very happy, but the cunning shopkeeper Manohar was filled with anger seeing Arjun's success. He said to the king, "Your Majesty, these flowers will wither because they are not attached to a plant. Tell Arjun to bring the plant with the flowers still on it." The king said, "He is right. Go once again to the wild demon's garden and bring the plant of the Mohini flower." Arjun had already decided that he would definitely teach both the king and the shopkeeper a lesson for their tricks. He said, "Your Majesty, these flowers do not grow in the wild demon's garden. This city is in a place exactly like our city. In fact, its name is the same as ours. The people who have died live in that city. The king of all those people is your own father, who passed away a long time ago. When I reached that city to get the flower and mentioned your name, saying that you had ordered the flower, your father began to cry and said, 'Why doesn't my son come to meet me himself?' He said that if he gave me the plant, I would never get a chance to meet him again. He told me to take only the flower for now, and that when you come yourself, he will give you the plant along with a lot of wealth." Then Arjun turned toward the cunning shopkeeper Manohar and said, "And sir, your father is also there. He has collected many gold coins for you." The cunning shopkeeper understood that Arjun was making up stories to trap them, but the foolish king believed him completely and ordered immediate preparations to go there. Arjun said, "Come, I will take you there." He led both of them to the bank of a river. Standing there, Arjun said, "The path to that city lies at the bottom of this river. You must jump into the river. When you reach the bottom, count up to 100. After counting to 100, a door will open and you will enter that city." The foolish king was ready to jump into the river, but the cunning shopkeeper stopped him and said, "Wait, he is lying. If this is true, then let him jump first. Let him go to that city, bring the Mohini flower from there, and only then we will believe him." And they were about to jump. The king said, "Yes, this is absolutely correct." Arjun replied, "But today I am tired. If you allow me, I will rest until tomorrow. By tomorrow evening, I will bring you the Mohini flower." The next day, before evening, Arjun asked Radhika to shed a few tears. She touched her eyes, and as a few drops fell, they turned into Mohini flowers. Arjun also took the gold coins he had brought from the wild demon's palace and reached the river along with the flowers. He crossed the river by boat and on the other side, hid everything in a bag on a tree. After doing this, he returned. The next day, in the evening, everyone gathered at the riverbank. Arjun told them to wait on the shore and himself jumped into the river. As the darkness of night spread, he quietly reached the other side. Making sure no one saw him, he climbed the tree, took the hidden bag, and crossed back again. When he returned to the riverbank, He handed the flowers to the king and the gold coins to the cunning shopkeeper Manohar, saying, "These are gifts sent by your father. He said he has many more such coins with him. If you come yourself, he will give them all to you." The moment the shopkeeper saw the gold coins, his eyes widened in greed, and he became completely blinded by desire. Without thinking for even a moment, he immediately jumped into the river. The king did not stay behind either. He also jumped in. The people standing on the riverbank waited for a long time, but neither of them returned. After a few days, their bodies were found floating in the water. In this way, the king was punished for his foolishness and the shopkeeper for his cunning nature. After that, Arjun's life became peaceful and happy. Radhika and Arjun got married. Radhika was reunited with her family. Because of the Mohini flowers created from Radhika's tears, the magical birds always stayed around their home. Arjun's mother also lived happily with Arjun and Radhika, and they all lived happily ever after.